I mean, I don't
You
know. That
you
kid
you
beat
ain't
Georgia.
you ain't. I don't care, Bryce. You're not Lamar Jackson. You're
Yes,
not
and the kid
Justin.
beat Georgia, the two-time defending national
That
champion,
ain't the
who's
same. Bryce. What I
is
always tell you.
probably still a top 14.
What
Let's
what I
be
always
honest.
what I always tell you, Bryce. What happened the year before has nothing to do with the team right now. It's a completely different team. That's not the same
That
Georgia team.
Georgia football team is still awesome, and he
Bryce
beat
is
them.
okay, but it still has nothing to do with that. What I'm saying, Jalen Milroe could not do that, and that's why I'm saying he's not a good quarterback. You are a good athlete who just happens to have an arm, and that with your arm you can throw a football.
I,
That ain't a good quarterback.
I, well, time will tell on that. I disagree. All righty, welcome back to a special episode, a Rose Bowl recap, if you will, if you want to call it that. Special episode today. I am very tired. Late night. Kids didn't sleep too, so that didn't help. But the fatigue and the tiredness
hmm
is all worth it, brother, because
hmm
I live in Austin, and so I got a 2 hour drive to the national championship next week, Monday.
There you go. There you go.
You have any words for me today? Anything you want to say?
About what? We want to
Okay.
talk about, are we talk about the game?
I'm gonna say maybe congrats.
I didn't say that yet. Congrats.
No, you didn't text me yesterday.
I was watching another game right after, but congratulations, man.
Yeah,
Good on you guys.
how convenient. Thank you.
No, I mean I picked you guys to win, so I'm happy. So
When we started this show months ago,
hmm hmm
didn't expect this. I thought it would be some fun banter back and forth for our game, and then presumably playoff appearances for either team, maybe both, maybe
Right.
neither. So to get to here, to get over this hump, this bridge, I posted the video of my family. I was fortunate enough to watch it with family here.
hmm
No. On my Twitter.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Thank you. It was
hmm
nuts. I'm glad that was caught. My voice hurts. My throat hurts. Lost my voice. But we're back. We're back. Well, um, lots to talk about, lots to recap,
hmm
exciting stuff. I appreciate you jumping on. Please jump in. I've got a long list of things to cover, and maybe you do as well. We haven't even talked about this yet. And if you don't, that's fine. I've got a ton of things to
Well,
say.
no. Well,
All right. All right. Um, so national championship game against Washington next week. Michigan conquered the hurdle, the one, the wasn't it's not the last hurdle, but the big hurdle for
mm
this program was getting that playoff win, was beating an SEC team, was winning a bowl game. All those things been accomplished. We're on our
mm
way. I want to share a tweet from one of the greatest sports personalities on the internet right now, Big Game Boomer. 2 years ago, Michigan got smacked in the mouth by an elite Georgia team. This was a learning moment for Harbaugh. This loss helped him understand what it takes to beat the SEC, and he spent the last 2 years building a roster to slay the dragon. Do you remember that score? That score was 34-11. Last night, the Georgia drill, beat Georgia drill, worked out, and we took it to the mouth. Smack Bama in the mouth last night. So shout out Big Game Boomer, giving the much deserved respect to the boys in blue. I know he's your favorite, or you're his favorite.
I mean, I wouldn't say you guys smacked them in the mouth. It was a really good game.
It's a great
Um,
game.
uh, no, I mean, I don't think that Georgia drill really helped. I don't think it had anything to do with helping you guys beat Alabama. I think those are two separate conversations, two separate things, two separate teams, two separate programs right now. Um, I mean, I thought that game went exactly how I thought would go. I thought one of the biggest points in the game. I was listening to Johnny Olden last night, and I agree with him on this. He said he thinks one of the biggest plays of that game was that interception being called back because Caleb Downs' foot was out of bounds, and he said he thinks that was a interception that early in the game. He thinks that would have just tanked JJ's confidence in that game. I think the same thing, but I think it was. I mean, and someone asked me, said, "Do you think that was the right call?" Yeah, it was the right call. He's puts out of bounds. You didn't establish it, you know. I thought that Blake Corum was huge at the end of the game. I think the defense was the biggest part. Um, but I mean, Blake Corum, he had 6 runs. I think he touched the ball 6 times, 19 times overall, but 6 times in the second half. But that last run he had was so good. It was so good. I mean,
So good.
the first half, he struggled. He struggled in the first half. 13 carries, 48 yards, 3.7 per, along with 21.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. We gotta go back. We go back.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Disagree. Could not disagree more with that statement on JJ. That was was third year playing, second year starting. Bad pick.
Mhm.
He throws that pick. That doesn't mean that his confidence is shattered.
No,
He was
he
he
thinks
was
it
he
happens.
was unmovable last night.
Mhm.
He was poised. I could not disagree with that more. Yeah, it would have thrown the game on a different angle, but he been all right.
Bryce, I think you're missing what I said. What Johnny Olden said. He said thinks. We didn't say it would, Bryce. We said thinks, which means it's not saying it's full blown going to happen, Bryce. We said we think that could have.
And I think he's wrong.
Okay, no, and that's fine, Bryce. Okay, that's fine. I'm simply saying there's a chance that it could happen because we've seen it happen to a lot of quarterbacks, and we've seen it happen to tenured NFL quarterbacks where they throw an interception, Bryce. It takes their confidence because they're having let's say some PTSD in a way.
JJ
But yeah,
throws that pick, and that gets called a pick. I got all the confidence in the world to be back. So that's fine. He can think that. I'm just saying I disagree.
that's fine. I'm just giving some perspective, another perspective, right? That's all. Um, like I said, I thought the defense was awesome in that game. Um, you know, I tweeted this out. I took some heat when I said that Kyle McCord is better than Jalen Milroe, and in that game you can see why. He can't pass a lick worth a lick. He can't.
He
Ben,
finished with say went 16 for 23,
mm-hmm.
116 yards, had the one big pass to yeah, 17 was the second quarter, third quarter, second quarter.
Isaiah Bond
Yeah, Zabon, yeah. So he had one and then we were in his face all day long after
all
that.
day. I mean, after that, Bryce, that's the beginning of the game. You guys had 5 sacks.
5 sacks, finished with 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shout out Minter, drawing up an unbelievable scheme for
Yeah.
that defense. So yeah, I think Milroe, yeah, again, he isn't Bryce Young. He's not going to wheel and deal in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But what we had to do and what we did was we had to get Tim early, had to make him shake. I mean, there was a point in the game where he dropped back and he was just quivering and he was shaking.
Yeah.
And then Saban made adjustments in the second half, but once he did that, I think it helped him out, freed him up a little bit. But before that, man, oh my goodness, we were in his grill.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. One of my biggest problems with the game is that see, Alabama's offensive line is very young. It's not completely sound, but they play nasty and they're big. I don't know if you heard this on the broadcast, Bryce, but their average weight is bigger than every single NFL
I
offensive
saw that.
line.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and when I saw this after the game, it didn't make sense to me. McClellan averaged 6.2 a carry. Justice Haynes, very talented freshman, number 22, averaged
Mm-hmm.
7.8 with only a long of 11. Jalen Milroe ran the ball more than both of them did, and combined.
Yeah.
And on 3 yards of carry. And I'm sitting here like I don't understand because there was a point in that game, Bryce, when Alabama gave their ball to the running backs, it didn't matter. They're getting 5 yards or more.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why Tommy Rees kept doing that. It was especially Bryce that last play called the game. I
What did you see Saban's quote on that?
I can care less what he said. I saw it. And I don't believe him.
We
I think
called we
I think he was
called
trying to take it for him.
so we called 3 plays One, they
Mhm.
called timeout. One, we called timeout. And the last one that didn't work. The fact that it didn't work made it a really bad call. You know what I mean? But we
Mhm.
called timeout because we had a bad look. Uh, we had a good look on the first one, and they must have known it. So, excellent back and forth game of chess at the end there between the two coaching staffs to figure out the timeout. And yeah, that was a interesting call at the end. I went back and watched that replay a few times. That snap was low. If
That
that
Stinner is
snap
the
is
worst
on,
game.
yeah, if that snap is on online, I don't know if he gets it, but I
Bryce is
feel
it's
like
a
he
touchdown.
has. I know.
You see the left guard? You see the left side of your defensive line? It was completely blown up. That was
But
going to be a touchdown. I
Sanderson was there. We watched it probably 30 times afterwards, and we talked about that. And I
mhm.
can see it going both ways.
From what I saw, that left guard blew it up. I think that when you're running down, when you have a guy like Jalen Milrow and he's running downhill, I don't think Mike Sanders still is making that. He can make the tackle. I don't think he's standing him up at the line.
No,
That's just that's just me like talking about like how their bodies are built.
yeah,
So but I
yeah,
mean, regardless, I mean, biggest play of the game to me, Mason Graham, that sack.
yep, yep.
Um,
Mm.
I think if Milrow had more a better football IQ, he would have slid at the 11. uh, I I think it's when I was talking to Lawson last night about it, and we both agree. We both were like harping on this for about 5 minutes, and he said when he got to that within the on the 9 yard line and got tackled, that was the worst position they could have been in. Because even when I saw that, Bryce, my first thought was they're not getting a touchdown from the 9 yard line on Michigan's defense.
No,
That,
yep.
that that was my first thought. And then I mean I think when they got the pass to
Burton.
Burton, I think the officials missed a defensive hold on that.
Yep.
But and I mean they missed calls all game. They for some odd reason they didn't want to call the offensive line holdings for either team.
No,
Um,
no, they just decided to ignore that part of the game.
and I think I mean Alabama had a few. I think you guys had a lot of them.
Yep.
But it was a few times I saw who's your center?
Jake Nugent.
Yeah, just dragging guys down when he's falling down. But I mean, overall, man, I think the better team won the game. I think the better team won the game.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Um,
I got ESPN on right now, and oh,
mm.
poor Paulie Feinbaum. Oh, he is struggling to compliment Jim right now. Oh, that's those ESPN tiers are sweet. We also got to highlight every opportunity Michigan had to throw this game away, and I think that was frustrating. I think if we lose
how do you
that
think
game,
JJ played? I forgot to ask you. How do you think JJ played?
I'll get to JJ.
Okay.
I I so yeah, if we lost that game last night, I would be sick this morning
Mm.
and today because you had poor Samaj. I love Samaj. He's going to be great. I'm excited for him. But my goodness, I think the stage was a bit too big for the freshman. He'll be back. Samaj, you'll be
Mm.
back. I got confidence in you, kid. But muffed punt, the drop pass on that third down when our offense was stagnant and we couldn't do a thing and we needed to give the defense an extra breather and we couldn't.
Mm.
The thaw miss muff punt at the end of the game. That could have been disastrous. If that ball goes in the end zone and we get the safety, then
Bryce.
we're down two with I forgot
The
how much
game's
time was
over. The
left.
game's over, Bryce.
Game could
The game's
potentially
over.
be over. Missed PATs, missed
Mm.
field goals. It just for a team that has been so daggone clean all year long to go all that time and have all of those mental mistakes was
Yeah.
nauseating. And so you think that, all right, we get him out of the way now. But my goodness, if we lose that game last night, and it's because of stuff like that, I tell you, the best thing about going to overtime is the fact that we didn't have to punt because one of Alabama's best weapons was their punter.
Yeah. I mean, and their kicker.
Oh,
I'll
that
tell you what.
kid's automatic.
At the end of on Alabama's last drive to go and take the lead, I was very disappointed in Alabama's play calling because in my mind, Bryce, you didn't have to get that far down the field. That kid gets complete Jake Moody vibes, and I say if you 50, I don't care that ball's from 55. That kick is not getting in.
Yep.
He had because on each kick he maybe had 8 to 10 more yards on his kicks.
Right down the middle.
And yeah, man, but you guys, I mean, both teams. I think both teams shot themselves in the foot a few times, but it was very glaring when you guys did it. It was very glaring.
Yep.
I saw the sentiment from a lot of Michigan fans, and even myself. I was like, get Samaj out of there, get
Yeah.
him out,
A bit
get
too
him
big
out.
for him.
And then I didn't understand why Sharon Moore kept calling plays for him. That was, um,
My guess is that the defense wasn't prepared for him. There's just not a lot of tape on Samaj, and so that was maybe the opening they saw. That would be
yeah,
my guess.
but I mean, those same plays Samaj is open for. Those are easily plays you could have put Roman Wilson in. So I mean,
But yeah, I mean, you said it before. You said it last week. Their cornerbacks are legit, probably the best in the country.
but
Those
Samaj is in
cornerbacks.
the slot. He's in the slot though.
No, I know, and that's where the openings are. Now, if you put Roman Wilson, I didn't. I got to go back and watch. But was Kool-Aid following Roman? Was Kool-Aid following
He wasn't.
Cornelius? So you're staying on his side? Then yeah,
Mm-mm.
maybe. I don't know.
Even on that, that pass that went through Samaj's hands, JJ didn't have to throw a rocket there. I will say that that ball could have easily. I saw
No.
someone.
Yeah.
I saw someone say this. They said JJ needs to understand that he doesn't have to always use an AK-47. Sometimes it's nice to use a handgun.
If
Um,
that ball was high, if that ball was low, I would agree with you.
Bryce, we've seen it happen all the time in football when the ball is coming fast and
Yeah.
it just zips through. Other than that, it still stood a bang caught. Let's not get that twisted.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah,
that would have been the break the defense needed at the time.
very
Was
true.
that was backbreaking.
Because you can see the defense, you can see both defenses getting tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah. I thought for JJ, you asked me how JJ played.
Mm-hmm.
The pass at the beginning, I thought it was interesting how or why he threw that pass, the Caleb Downs almost interception. Which by the way, that kid is awesome. Caleb Downs. Even the kid
Yeah,
plays like a senior. Even his punt return that went off this teammate's foot and just the wherewithal to be right there. That was very impressive with that kid. And then even too, he shut down our tight ends. I thought our tight ends would be a point of emphasis.
Bryce. What did I tell
Colson,
you? What did I tell you? He's the what in the world?
I don't know
That's
what.
the. I told you he's the best safety in college football.
Yeah, I mean, Colson had 2 catches. And I don't think one of those was a screen pass, and then one they were in the in zone, and then
Mm.
AJ Barner had I think 2 targets, and then obviously no catches, and Downs was right there each time. So impressed with number 2, man. But
Mm.
JJ, if JJ wins the national championship, if we win on Monday,
Mm.
he will go down as is one of the goats, all time greats at Michigan as quarterback.
Yeah.
If we go back to November 15, 2020, his tweet, and you go back to his press conference last year saying we'll be back a year ago at this game, rallying the guys, being the leader, carrying this team, going into Columbus last year, getting a much needed win. He will be the GOAT, and he'll be forever a legend. And we've talked about on the show, and I get why people can hate on him, but Michigan fans hold him tightly, hold him near and dear because of what he's done. And last night we saw him. He had we went 17 for 27, 221, and 3 touchdown passes. And what were his rushing yards? Let me pull those up here. I should have those here because he had 3 carries for 25. Yeah, 3 carries for 25 yards. And one of those was that last drive, the game tying touchdown
Yeah.
drive
Yeah.
where there's a read option. And he carried it for, I think he got 15 on that play. So I
Mm.
thought he played awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I've heard a different sentiment from most Michigan fans.
Let's
So
hear it. They're
yeah,
wrong.
most
Let's hear it.
no, they're not wrong, Bryce. You're not wrong, Bryce. But
They're wrong.
because I understand what they're saying. It's not that he didn't play good, because I think he played good. But there was, like, I'll give you an example, Bryce. Even let's talk about that throw to Roman. So that throw was very interesting because first off, it was crazy when I first saw when I first saw the play happen. I said, dude, I think I got tipped.
Got tipped. Yeah.
It looked really weird coming out. Like, throws don't look like that. Anyways,
Yep.
but But when it happened, man, even that ball, man, because I listened probably 3 or 4 Michigan podcasts last night,
Good man.
and because I want to see how they felt about how the game went, and they all gave the same sentiment. They said that ball looks like it was going to sail, and that Roman made that play. He did. Um, Bryce, if you look how high he jumped for that ball, a lot, especially at his height, because Roman's maybe 5'11", right? Would you
Yeah, he's
say?
not tall. He's a freak athlete, but he's not tall.
Yeah, so for him to make that play was really good. I think JJ made enough plays in the game. I wouldn't say he played awesome. I don't think that he was. If you want to see awesome, the Sugar Bowl, you would saw awesome. Um, I think he made just enough plays to win the game. I don't think he lost the game for his team. Um, whereas like last year we said in the game against TCU, he did.
Yeah.
This year I don't think he lost the game. I don't think he played awesome. I think he played good enough. I thought he made one probably I think he made 2 crucial plays. I think he made 2 crucial plays in the game, and they're both on that last drive. I think that's how they won. That's where they won. He won the game. I don't. I don't think 17 for 27 is awesome. I don't think 63% is awesome. I don't like so the 3 touchdowns. Don't get me wrong. Like Tyler Morris, man, that was a great rack after that was some great after catch by him. What was this? What was that?
First touchdown ever.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of the game, I think the wide receivers when they touched the ball, they made plays for him. I think Sharon Morris schemed up some great plays, man. There was a few plays where you would see their safeties or their corners get locked up, like on that 4th and 2, big balls by them, big balls by Jim Harbaugh for going
Big
for
old
that 4th and 2.
cojones.
When they showed how when he went out on that route, and it's really smart because you don't expect Blake Corum to be used as a receiving threat because mostly he's not, and they never run pass
No.
plays with him in the game. So they show it, and they ran one receiver over there. Then they moved him over to the right, and you see 3 guys just cross. One guy's on the fly, 2 go across the middle, and their safety gets locked up
Yep.
because there's not enough. There's just not enough bodies over there, and he has to make a choice. And he gets open. Now then, I mean, again, great ran after catch by Blake Corum, hurdled a guy. No, that was about yeah. Like I said, I think JJ played a good game or good enough. I think played good enough.
Yeah,
I,
that's again, that's fine. And those guys can say that. That's fine. I think that what the kid does for the team, it's never going to be stat sheet breaking, but what he does for the team, poise leadership, all of that is what makes him great. And so the kid threw 3 touchdowns against Alabama. And yeah, you can blame scheme, you can blame rack, all I'm sure fair things. But he threw 3 touchdowns against Alabama. And that flea
Mhm.
flicker, Tyler Morris was wide open.
when,
Another
when
touchdown.
when you saw that ball in the air, what was your first thought?
The flea flicker?
The second one, yeah,
Well,
because
the flea flicker.
you guys ran 2, right? The first one didn't work. The second one,
I don't think we ran a flea
when
flicker after that.
what was that play that went to Tyler Morris? Not Tyler Morris, but the Roman.
Oh, the
When
throwback, Donovan Edwards
yeah,
throwback.
yeah, yeah. What was your
Yeah.
thought when that ball was in the air?
Wait, which pass? Edwards to McCarthy or McCarthy to Roman?
McCarthy to Roman.
Yeah. I thought I wasn't as concerned about that one. I was more concerned about
I meant,
Edwards to
I
McCarthy.
meant like, well, I meant like because on the TV, all you see is the ball in the air,
Yeah.
and you see JJ getting hit. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm asking, what was your? Because you had no
Oh,
idea. You had
yeah.
no idea Roman was open.
No idea. I was hoping that JJ wouldn't force it. And thankfully he was wide open. But
That was
yeah, no, that was such a ballsy call. The Edwards to JJ, and my goodness, him fielding that. There's a clip
yeah.
during fall camp where he's like catching one hand passes that are very similar
Mm.
to that, and it's just funny how that probably translated over. But being able to field that ball, oh my gosh, stresses me out. But yeah, I got a note here just talk about Sharon Moore. I thought I thought Sharon called an unbelievable game. Michigan the last couple years and in big games, and you didn't see that against Ohio State this year. You didn't see it against Alabama, but they try to play their game and impose their will, and then you almost wait till later to bring out some stops. Alabama's defense is Alabama's defense. I don't know where this will forever rank in the total greatness the Bama defense is.
Not top 10.
But I don't know. I have to go look at the numbers. It's still Alabama. There's still
Yeah.
stupid talent on it. It's
Hmm.
still a good defense, and you have to get creative. And I thought in that first half there was a ton of creativity. There were looks that I have never seen before. I've not seen this season before.
Yeah.
The Blake Corum touchdown at the first touchdown of the game was huge. Just a lot of the wrinkles in the schemes that he brought early on were awesome. And I think what that did was that opened up Blake Corum later in the
Hmm.
game. It opened up maybe more of the classic playbook later in the game. And so all credit to Moore for that scheme. He was creative. And the other key stat, man, which was the same case against Ohio State, was 2 for 2 on fourth down. Went for it on
Mm.
fourth, converted both
Hmm.
times. Obviously, Alabama only was 0 for 1, but if that fourth down was, of course, the last
Yeah.
game. So I think that's just the cojones that were dropped on the table there, man. That's what you need. It's
Hmm.
what you need to win those games.
Oh, for sure, man. I think Sharon played. I think he schemed up a lot of great plays, man. Like there were a lot of plays, especially in the beginning. Like you said, Bryce, in the beginning of the game, there were a lot of formations where I was like, oh, that's new, that's different. It looked in a lot of plays that looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do think there was a point where he tried to get in that game. You guys got a little cute. Um,
Yeah. Or
like
he
Bryce,
didn't come back in.
everyone in the building knew that was a pass.
Oh, I know. I know. We called it
Every
here.
I don't think it was Bryce. Come on, you can only run that play so many times to the point. Then you to the point where you're not about to pass the ball.
Well, remember his run
So
before that was for 4 yards. So like there was success
yeah,
on the ground. So I thought the fact that he had success running the ball the first time maybe
hmm,
opened the door. Plus, when your pass option or your receiving option is Khalil Mullins, you think to yourself, no one's gonna call that out.
yeah,
And I think they did. And shout
yeah.
out Khalil Mullins, man. I mean, my goodness, he had that huge catch in the first quarter that was broken down coverage. The defender fell,
Hmm.
big catch on the sideline, kept the drive alive. And then he had, I gotta find some clips of this, some monstrous blocks. He had a crack side block coming down, which I thought was an illegal block in today's game, but maybe
It
not.
is. It is.
He
It
blew
is.
somebody up. And then he had a few other just lead blocks throughout the game that were huge. So shout out Khalil Mullins.
How do you feel about that punt? Running to the punter not called.
Oh yeah, that was a penalty. But I think they made
Uh,
up for it with the Bredesen penalty a couple plays later.
yeah, but I mean that. But if you don't have the punt, that keeps your offense on the field.
Yeah, no, for sure. But
Uh,
that also stalled out Michigan's drive too. So the football gods were level headed that game.
they were, especially on that flea flicker. I tweeted, I said, Michigan runs another flea flicker. Football gods. Okay, we're done with that BS now.
Yeah, I
We're
saw
done with
that.
that. Yeah, man. But
I'd also be lying to you if I wasn't terrified in the third quarter, right at the start of it, because Nick Saban is Nick Saban. And we were talking about it here. We to go into half 13-10. There's part of it where we thought we're in
Scared.
great shape. But the other part of it is we had to put more points up. We had to put more points up on them, knowing they're going to come out in the second half. And you saw that, man. The third quarter
Dominance.
dominance, that center. I'm sure he had to walk back to Tuscaloosa. I don't think they allowed him on the plane.
He's not allowed back, bro. He's not allowed back in my facilities. That was the worst game by a center. And Bud Elliott spoke about this all year. I love cover three. He had talked about this all year, Bryce, and before the game happened about their center and the low snaps they've had all year. That is a consistent thing Alabama's had all year. So to
Yeah,
see it happen that much in a game, Bryce, I counted nine. Not to also bring up the fact that the few balls that went to the sides.
yeah, dude. I know that was it was perplexing, but that kid kind of single handed. I don't think he single handed lost the game, but he sure didn't help. Um, that last drive though to tie up the game. You got the
Hmm.
4th and 2 from the own 32 pass to Blake, which
Hmm.
my brain went dumb at that moment because I thought penalties, I thought that would overturn it and it would be 4th and long, but I forgot that
No.
penalties downfield, it's a point of or spot foul penalty and the first down still
Hmm.
there. So I cried a little bit, but we got over it.
That was such a dumb penalty. I saw.
Oh, I know. What are you doing? And it didn't matter too much, but
Yeah.
and then you had the 1st and 10 read
Hmm.
option, or maybe that was a design run to JJ, which they didn't do once before that. So again, hats off Sharon Moore for keeping that in your pocket till the point
Right.
you needed it. Huge pass that we've talked about that was tipped, but what a great play by Roman, who was quiet
Hmm.
all day. And then a super creative goal line play. And then, dude, that last, I mean, Bama got the ball back with one timeout in a minute. What was it, minute 40?
Hmm.
Just under 2 minutes. So enough time to get down the field and get into field goal range, which we talked about, man. Anywhere 55 and below, that kid's automatic. And so there was some genuine fear there. But that defense, that
I
freaking
mean that
defense.
and Milrow can't throw a ball.
Yeah.
It's just that's that. Right? I think if Milrow had half of Penix's talent, they win the game. But
I mean, maybe, but
the
I also
truth,
think we got to him all day long.
no, yo, for sure. But I mean, did you watch the Texas Washington game?
Oh yeah, switch cheese
Okay,
defenses.
plenty of times. Texas defense is a Swiss cheese. The secondary is, but there's plenty of times when Penix was getting pressured, and he gets pressured a lot sometimes. He's still able to get the ball off and get it where it needs to be.
Yeah,
Jalen Milrow doesn't have that ability at all, at all.
yeah. I mean,
And Bill O'Brien is somewhere laughing his tail off because I don't know if you saw what Milrow said, but he said Bill O'Brien told him that he should change positions. Ah,
I mean, I don't
you
know. That kid
you
beat
ain't
Georgia.
you ain't. I don't care, Bryce. You're not Lamar Jackson. You're
Yes,
not
and the kid
Justin.
beat Georgia, the two-time defending national
That,
champion,
that
who
ain't the same. Bryce, Bryce. What I
is
always tell you,
probably still a top 14.
what
Let's
what
be
I always
honest.
what I always tell you, Bryce. What happened the year before has nothing to do with the team right now. These are a completely different team. That's not the same
That
Georgia team.
Georgia football team is still awesome, and he
Bryce
beat them.
is okay, but it still has nothing to do with that. What I'm saying, that's not the same Georgia team. That's not the 2021 defense. That ain't the 2022 defense.
Yeah, we'll talk about Penix later. Well, obviously that's coming up here. I've got a lot of thoughts here, and there's things about him that make me worried for sure because he gets the ball out quick. Holy cow! But you scheme against guys like that, and the scheme with Jalen Milrow was getting to him early, not letting him scramble. And I think when you take a quarterback, especially a younger guy, out of his game, things get shaky. I think we saw that. So I'm not ready to
Mm-hmm.
sit here and say he's not a good quarterback. I think he was in the Heisman contention at one point this year. And so
I don't think he's a
we'll see.
quarterback, Bryce. I think he's a good athlete who just happens to play quarterback. And if he's hot,
We'll
he's
see.
hot.
We'll see.
Because the truth of the matter is, if the ball's not deep, and I was confused on this by Tommy Reese. Michigan's corners were playing 10 yards off. Run some digs, run some slants, do something, run some crossing routes.
They
I,
did. They did. But he had no time. He had
but
nothing.
bro, Bryce, keep running them. Just keep. And the thing is, Bryce,
Fine.
there was like I said, there's times when yes, there was a lot of pressure. I get that, and great on Michigan's defense for that. But like I said about Penix, if he had half of Penix's talent, Penix in that game against Texas, and it probably
I
against.
don't want to talk about Penix yet. Let's
I'm
talk.
not
Let's
Bryce.
hold Penix. Let's hold
I'm not
Penix.
Bryce. I'm not necessarily talking about Penix. Just let me finish, please. But he's able to get the ball off under pressure. Jalen Milrow could not do that, and that's why I'm saying he's not a good quarterback. You are a good athlete who just happens to have an arm, and that with your arm you can throw a football.
Yeah.
That ain't a good quarterback.
I well, time will tell on that. I disagree. But
This
couple
year he's not.
couple shout outs. Bryce, we'll call him the Bryce Sack shout outs to my boys in blue. Blake Corum, 118 total yards, touchdown on the ground, touchdown in the air. Barry Sanders type run at the end of the game. That stuff will go down in history as one of the greatest plays in Michigan football history. That
Mm-hmm.
touchdown in overtime. Roman Wilson, 4 catches, 73 yards. The monstrous one, of course, on that last drive. And he even had couple big catches prior to that. So Huge game from him. Already talked about Khalil Mullins. Tyler Morris, shout out, first ever touchdown. What a time and place to score against a great
Yeah.
defense in the Rose Bowl for your first ever touchdown. Hopefully he hangs a picture somewhere on that. Michael Barrett, 7 tackles. Junior Colson, 5 tackles. Those linebackers were outrageous. We talked about the corners here. Will Johnson, 2 targets, no catches. Jermaine Burton had 4 catches, 21 yards. 11 of those yards came from that third down on Josh Wallace. So Will Johnson had him. How do the kids do it now? Look, we'll do it. Shout out Will. And then I got to shout out the defensive ends. Oh my goodness. I think Jalen Harrell had a quiet night, and I still think he played awesome. But Braden McGregor early on getting to the quarterback. Derek Moore staying true to his lanes, getting outside, getting to the perimeter, but then also getting to the quarterback. But Josiah Stewart, the lowly transfer from Coastal Carolina, I think he was a 2-star recruit coming out of college or coming out of high school, transfers in and goes toe to toe with a 5-star last night. And then when the game was on the line, blew him up. Essentially, I think won the game for us. Had a couple big plays throughout the night, couple sacks. Josiah Stewart, an absolute dog. And now we got ourselves in a position where ESPN's trembling. It's a Big Ten matchup. Michigan's in it. Washington's in it. They can't get their SEC guys in it. And now we got to watch them all week deal with that. And that is sweet to me.
I don't think they're trembling. I think that I mean you got the West Coast, you got the Big Ten area, and you have one of the largest fan bases in America. They're going to be watching that game, so the ratings are going to do numbers. I don't think that they're trembling at all. If you actually look at it, I don't think they're trembling at all, right? So they're going to make money off of it.
How many
It's like
games does
it's like someone last night said, "I want to know where Paul Feinbaum is," and I said, "Well, Paul Feinbaum is he's in his big ass estate with a glass of wine, not caring about your tweet."
Yes, he
Like
is.
it's
Yes, he is. That coward is hiding last night. Nowhere to be found. And
oh,
now he's on ESPN being a baby.
oh, no.
Last thing I want to say, too, is recruiting has changed, man. Recruiting has changed. You look at the rankings, Bama had the best class, Texas of the Final Four, then Texas, then Michigan, then Washington.
Mm,
Those last 2 teams are the ones in the national championship. You got guys like Josiah Stewart going 1-on-1 against 5 stars. Give me
he's nothing,
development over recruiting
Bryce. Okay, that means
all day long.
all right, Bryce. I've told you before. Once you get once you're 2 years out of high school, those stars don't mean anything because eventually guys do develop. Eventually,
Thank you.
no, but listen, I'm saying to you because most times they're not, Bryce. Look at the numbers. The people that get drafted in the first round, a lot of them are 4 and 5 star
I don't
recruits.
care about draft picks.
All right,
I care
Bryce,
about winning.
okay, Bryce. Okay, listen real quick. What I will say is that one thing Michigan and Washington both benefit from, and this is not their own fault. This isn't their own fault. These are COVID year players. They are, and I don't have a problem with it, Bryce. I have no problem with it at all. I literally just said to you, it's not the program's fault. Like it's not at all. So I mean, these are 2 various like senior led teams, and I think and that's showing through for these teams. Like especially both teams got in situations where they could have lost. They could have lost the game for themselves. And
Yep.
I don't even think it has so much to do with development. I think because you have older guys on the team, they've seen a lot of football. They won these games. I think that's how it happened.
Last thing is Buckeye fans. I'm not gonna talk to you, Garrison. Talk to our Buckeye fans. All of my tweets yesterday. Y'all can shut up about your one playoff win. We're even now.